how efficiently he can manage the construction and demolition waste, along with or demolition, obviously of the existing projects. And what we need to do, we need to collect those, we need to sort those, and then transportation if it is required, then recycling is required, or proper disposal if it has to be. Like we are very much aware of this, that it consists of concrete, wood, metal, bricks, asphalt, glass, plastics, any other it may be. And what, as I said earlier, that we need to implement the reverse logistics. So what it is, obviously, just the opposite of the logistics that we talked about. So here the goods will move from the demolition site to back to the suppliers or recyclers. That's why we are talking about the reverse logistics. And blockchain, we know what it is. It is nothing but a very secure and very transfer record keeping, and obviously it is a decentralized ledger, as we call it, because only a single person cannot do anything with a blockchain. And obviously the objective is very clear. We need to enforce compliance with the regulations and standards, and through smart contracts we need to auto make the payments for the waste collection. Obviously after verification has been done. Obviously, as I was talking about the ledger, decentralized ledger, obviously it is a very transparent ledger, and it tracks the origin, the composition, and the movement of the materials that has been collected from the sites. And obviously, the main thing is that we need to assign digital tags to those waste items. That means we talked about proper handling or proper management of the waste. So we need to tag digitally each and every waste item. What problem to identify from here? Obviously, there was a lack of transparency in the waste tracking. Manual processes were there that led to delays and errors, and low trust. The most important thing is the low trust among the stakeholders, the contractors, the recyclers, and the regulators, obviously. So, what impact it had? It had higher costs, the environment was harming, and resources were wasted because we talked about recycling, so we can recycle the things. So we were also wasting the resources. So our study what it is, we need to increase the efficiency, we need to remove the middleman. Okay, so if I can, then the fraud or fraudulent things can be removed. And obviously, we were talking about fostering this inclusivity and the sustainability. So improve sustainability is the another thing. So as we talked about that, we were talking about integrating the blockchain and the reverse logistics, and what it does, it ensures security and integrity. What we need to do is using the RFID tags. Obviously, we need to gather data. These RFID tags will be providing us data. Okay. As I talked about earlier, we need to digitally assign the waste materials so it can be properly or securely recorded on the blockchain. Obviously, it will prevent tampering and it will make sure that we are giving all the information. So, what are the strengths of this integrating the blockchain and the reverse logistics? Obviously, more efficient, sustainable, resilient, and obviously the challenges that we were talking about, we need to address, or it will be addressed rather. And the most important thing is that contribute to global environmental security. In the morning, we were talking about the carbon footprints. We need to reduce the carbon footprints. So we came up with a mathematical model for this, obviously for the blockchain. And the main thing or the main thing that we need to do is that we need to minimize something and we need to maximize something. That is the main thing. So what we are doing actually, we are actually, these are the objective functions, and we need to minimize the cost obviously, and we need to minimize the environmental impact. We talked about the carbon footprint. And what we need to maximize the sustainability metrics, we need to maximize. We talked about one thing is that sustainability, and also we need to increase the efficiency ratio. So this was a very small, simple mathematical model based on which the blockchain was being developed, and these are the basic operations of the blockchain. Validation of the transaction will be done. Gathering transaction for a block, because what we know that the records, the data, all will be stored in the blockchain. Then broadcasting the valid transactions and blocks. Obviously, we know that without the consensus of each and every one, the block cannot be created. that is there, and then changing of the blocks, you can use it to record. Not one single person can change the record. You know it. So these are what I did is that, rather we did is that we took up Galileo as a simulation platform. It is based on Ethereum. Obviously, it is a free version, and only 2 nodes can be added here. Nodes are the places where the blocks can be generated. Obviously, after the consensus has to be cleared by anyone. So nothing, there is some screenshot of it. How we took up the blocks that have been generated. You can see very well how many blocks have been generated per hour. Obviously, we use the data. Because smart contracts, GitHub was used with Solidity for smart contracts to write on. Smart contracts are nothing but the logics based on which the transactions will be happening. This is another Firefly actually code, which is obviously
it's a computer system.
It is nothing but a open source where we can come up with multiple parties can be involved in it, and obviously by which the blocks or blockchain can be created. These are nothing but the transactions that will happen. You can see that the blockchains have been created. Some activities, obviously, if there is no activity, then blocks cannot be created, then blockchains cannot be created. So how it happened, how the message got received, how the agent was received in the blockchain. So all these things are shown here. Obviously, it's a simulation. Okay. For that time, you can see 12 blocks were generated for 12 transactions. One node was involved in that, and one chain code was developed. So what we can conclude is that obviously there will be some future research directions. Pilot implementations can be there, and it can be optimized as necessary. Obviously, to ensure scalability, cost effectiveness, and obviously the most important thing, adaptability to regional context. We talked about local things. Okay, so together, obviously, we can build up more sustainable, efficient, and resilient sector. And obviously, the most important thing is that how we can implement that in hyperledger fabric, where obviously it is again open source, and this hyperledger fabric can be used to commercially actually implement the blockchain. And obviously, I summarized each and every part within blockchain environments. What can happen? Transparency and traceability of the things can be done. With smart contracts, obviously easily programmable, as I said. From the components from recycling, aggregate, where transparency is must. And from blockchain context, obviously we empower the industry to arrive with the economic growth, obviously taking part of the environment. So there are the references.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
It's a very good idea because generally blockchains are more associated with financial aspects and fraud analytics and all. But it's good to stretch it to construction and demolition piece. But how did you develop these blocks? Was it based on data, and what was the source of data?
Yes, what we did, as I said, it is a free platform. It is there, but we will right now. So they allow us to create only 2 nodes. Nodes is where the data will be generated. So we just very simply we created a smart contract, and we fed it, and they started generating the blocks. So we can enhance it, and we can put it in a commercial way. That's why we like to about the hyperledger fabric, where it gives us more space to commercially actually use the blockchain. And just to tell you that I am also in contact with Red Fine. Okay, they have practically implemented blockchain for their higher certificate part. So I am able to use them to commercially develop a blockchain for this part.
Thank you.
So thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. So, coming to the next presentation, the theme is Drone Delivery Services in India, a technology for a sustainable future. So, which is authored by Mr. Ajit Kumar Das and co-authored by Professor Dr. Bhagwan Singh. Sir, please. paper number 9. Can we call next presenter? So now we would request Mrs. Dipanita Misra, madam, and the topic is tourist ambience and destination sustainability, or study of the literature role of green brand equity. Madam, please. I will request the technical team to present and open the PPT.
Good afternoon, one and all welcome here. My topic is tourist ambience and destination sustainability, a study of the mediating role of green brand equity. Before starting the topic, I want to say something that over the past few decades, we have seen that tourism plays a very vital part in all over the world. And in India also, basically 10% of our GDP that comes from the tourism sector. That's why our government of India said India is incredible in tourism sector, incredible India. So in Odisha also, if you will say the tourism sector, Odisha is very enriched with different places, different destinations, and people are also attracted towards Odisha. And in India, there are tourism sectors like leisure tourism, Ayurveda, yoga tourism, medical tourism, adventure tourism, business tourism, ethnic tourism, pilgrim tourism, many tourism places, sectors are there. So people are attracted towards that, and in Odisha also we have many places like our Golden Beach, Eco-Retreat, Temple of Cities like Bhubaneswar, and other things are also there. So basically sustainable tourism that involves a critical concept in the industry emphasizing the need to balance economic benefits with environmental and social responsibility. Basically, destination tourism is what faster question arises. This is a key aspect of our sustainable tourism. It is basically focusing on the natural, cultural and social resources of a destination for the future generation. It is particularly concentrating on a particular place, and this concept of our tourist ambience. What is that? The tourist ambience refers to the overall atmosphere feeling of a particular place. Why that place attracts the tourist and that place creates that environment or that attraction mainly by means of that cultural elements what are present, that environmental factors, and the people, the tourists, they perceive and enjoy that particular place. Why? That is called as our tourist ambience, and that attracts the tourist towards that particular place for many times, and also that becomes a green brand equity or that enhances the value of that particular place for our tourism sector. So I have studied many literatures. Actually, presently I am working at Astha School of Management, and also I am a resource scholar of GIT Guntur, and my topic is based on this tourism brand equity of destination tourism, and from that I have collected this data and prepared this paper. So from that literature review part, I have tried to find out some gaps. There are many
excuse you, ma'am. You have another 2 minutes to conclude.
Okay, ma'am. So these are my hypotheses. I have taken this hypothesis, and from that hypothesis, green band equity mediates the relationship between tourist ambience and destination sustainability. Tourist ambience holds an important indirect influence on destination sustainability through green brand equity. And from that hypothesis, these are the objectives. The objectives of this work is to examine the intermediating responsibility of green brand equity in the association between tourist ambience and the destination sustainability. And from that, these are the research I have designed. Subject to lack of time. So I have actually surveyed the sample size is 500, and I have collected the data by random sampling technique by doing the questionnaires, both open-ended and closed-ended questions. About my question are based on the green and tourist ambience, green brand equity, and destination sustainability. For established the scales with high reliability and gravity test. And so these are the sample extremes. Actually, the model extreme was solved considering a margin of error of 5% and as well as a confidence of level of 95%. And the demographic survey I have made from this, 55% respondents are being female and 45% are male. The age gap is basically 18 to 16 years. And these are the measures I have used the 7-item scale with complex alpha of 0.85 and 5-item scale with complex alpha of 0.90. Showing the exceptional dependability. And the destination sustainability is also measured with the 10-item scale with complex alpha of 0.92, indicating excellent reliability. And also use 5-point Likert scale for spanning from 1 to 5 scale. And this is what the descriptive figure and correlation study I have made. And from that I have find out the conclusion part, which is actually the outcomes of the tourist ambience experts take pivotal part in setting destination sustainability, both directly and indirectly through green brand equity. Especially, one unit increase when tourist ambience is associated with 0.65 unit of increase in the destination sustainability, highlighting the importance of managing tourist behavior and promoting the sustainability practices. And also with the 0.35 unit enhance in destination sustainability against each one unit rise in tourist ambience. And also the findings suggest that it can improve their sustainability performance by 25% by promoting positive tourist ambience and green brand equity. So this is the conclusion. In my conclusion, this work supports the valued reasons towards the relationship between tourist ambience, green brand equity and destination sustainability. And the findings suggest that tourist ambience exerts an important part in modeling destination sustainability, both directly and indirectly through green brand equity. And the sustainability performance by 25% and attracts 20 to 25% more eco-conscious tourists.
Thank you.
And last part is
Thank you so
destination
much,
can
sir.
also reduce the carbon emission by 12 to 15%
Thank
by
you.
increasing 30% of tourist
Thank you so much.
satisfaction.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Just one suggestion I have. I mean, when you do this or when you write this paper, please refer to Barron and Kelly 1986. Read the paper and then, because that is essential. Because you're testing mediation, the reference has to be there. Barron and Kelly 1986.
Yes.
Thank you.
Madam, one thing I would like to ask you. Sampling, you have done random sampling and you have identified some sample size. So, sample size is calculated by taking into consideration so many other factors, starting from universe. So, we were studying this on tourists. So, how can you identify that? Because it is floating every time.
Yes.
And what are the tourist places you have identified? That is also another question. So whether it is done for Odisha or India or what, you have not mentioned in the paper.
Okay. Sir, basically I am doing the work within Odisha, different places of Odisha, and also I have gone to that place for my PhD work. I have preparing my thesis, so I have gone to different places and I have collected the data.
But how it is 500 sample size?
Sir, for this paper I have only taken 500 samples.
So why not 100 or 200? Why have chosen 500? How that figure came to you?
Sir, actually I have prepared this paper by the guidance of my guide, so he has told me that just 500, so I have taken it.
No, it's not like that. Anyway,
Yes, sir.
anyway, you talk to your guide
Sir,
when you are doing your PhD work.
yes.
So more in-depth
Sir,
research has
actually,
been done.
actually, if you will take 100 respondents out of this, then I think you can get a clear picture. So if it will be
No,
more,
no.
then you will get a clear picture.
No, madam, there is something which you are missing. So you go and study properly, and you can look forward to your research work. So it is a PhD thesis, so that's why I am advising you. So go in depth before completing your thesis.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Now I request Mr. Ajit Kumar Das sir to present his paper. Sir, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Astha from Central Research Scholar from Central University of Jharkhand. Yes, good afternoon. Again, my topic is India drone delivery services. In drone delivery services in India, a technology for sustainable future. Before going to the topic, I just want to say here one quotation. India drone revolution is not just about flying machines. It is a journey towards dynamic and promising future. So how it is going to be dynamic and promising future for us, let us explore in my paper. And my contents. Abbreviation, method for introduction. So, as we know, drone, today drone, the back of the drone is for military purposes, but nowadays we are using drone in different types of civilian purposes. The term drone delivery was invented by the Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos in 2013 in an American TV show, The 60 Minutes. After that, it dragged the attention of the whole universe, whole world, the drone delivery services. As I told, the back of the drone was for military purposes, and after the introduction of Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon, we are shifting from the civilian uses. This is the type of drones. There are various types of drones. known as consumer or recreational drones. Then here the features of features, then articles, then the commercial drones, then military drones, then racing drones, then agricultural drones. Here I want to give the explanation of agricultural drones. Nowadays we have seen we are using drones in agriculture so many purposes. As you know, the government of India also every scheme known as Kisan drone. Industrial drones, for industrial purposes we are using drones, then delivery drones. This is my topic known as drone delivery. Nowadays we are, as I told, we are shifting the military purposes towards the civilian purposes. Delivery drone means we are using drones for delivery purposes. As you all of know, the food delivery app known as food delivery app like Zomato and Swiggy, they have started the pilot project of drone delivery service. They are using drones for their delivery purposes. Then classification of drones. These are various types according to weight and their battery life and other specific we are dividing drones into various types. This is known as drone delivery around the world and India. As I told, in 2013, the Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos introduced the concept drone delivery services in the American TV show, the 60 Minutes. Then these are the status of drone delivery services to till date. And in 2019, the DTCA, the Director General of Civil Aviation, bring various types of rules to relax drone delivery services. Before that, as you know, we are not allowed drone to fly.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, you are requested to focus on your objectives, methodology, and findings.
Yes, sir.
As
Yes,
you are-
yes, ma'am.
Please.
The purpose and justification of the study, the review of literature. I have to use the review from different data sources like Google Scholar and Scopus and various other databases. I have taken the data from 2015 to 2015 days because the drone delivery started 2013. This is the drone delivery service in India. This is the objective of my study. To assess the first objective to assess an overview of the current state of drone delivery service in India, including the regulatory framework, market players, and the existing business models. To identify social influence, sustainability conditions, and performance expectancy of drone delivery services. Third one is to explore the impact of drone delivery services on Indian economy and society, such as job creation, environmental sustainability, and such as greening ways of the drone delivery services. Fourth one is to highlight the future prospects and challenges of drone delivery services in India, including emerging threats, regulatory development, and competitive dynamics. These are my hypotheses. My third chapter is research methodology. This study covers pan-India basis. So I have divided the pan-India into 6 different zones, 6 different categories. The eastern zone, western zone, northern zone, southern zone, and northeast zone and central zone. And these are the states include under the zones, covering under the zones. Also, I have done field test and pilot study. These are my research questions. Research gap. According to Mills, there are 7 types of research gap, but in my study, I have found these are the research gap. One is empirical gap, population gap, knowledge gap, and practical research gap. Questionnaire method. Reliability and validity of improvement. Data analysis and data analysis method. Data analysis and reporting. Number 4. Data analysis This study uses a Utah 2 model, and these are the variables of Utah 2 models like performance expectancy, social influence, behavior, perceived cost, facility condition, performance risk, delivery risk, and privacy risk. This is my model. I have used PLSM, and these are the reasons why I am using PLSM for my study.
Excuse me, sir, please come to your findings and conclusion. You have only 2 minutes to conclude.
I have collected 691 data from Pan India basis. These are the demographic characteristics of my study. Reliability and validity of the scale. This is the final model of my study. These are my hypothesis, accepted and rejected. Discussion and valid recommendations. I have found that drone delivery services in India in the United States, though it is very popular in outside of India, such as China, UK, and USA, and around in other countries, but in India, in the United States, it is required more and more facility conditions and from government side as well as awareness among the people. So most of the people are not aware of the drone delivery services. From the beginning, what I just quoted that India's drone delivery is not just a flying machine, and it's learning, it will dynamic and information.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your presentation.
All the and to the run.
Thank you so much, sir.
Definitely it is the upcoming and innovative topics over. But my query is that you have applied it for medicinal product, it seems, and service for medicines and all, because there is no data which are having this drone service is being used for other consumable products.
Yes, sir. What you told, I can be correct. Right now, so delivery services in the national stage, as I told, the food delivery app like Tomato and Swiggy, they are tested in the pilot study for food delivery services, and government also promoting food delivery services like as you know during the Corona COVID period, so in Telangana there is a scheme known as medicine from the sky. It was launched, and after that we are in Bhubaneswar AIMS also. As you guys know, I'm not aware, but AIMS Bhubaneswar also pilot tested the pilot study from AIMS Bhubaneswar to one of the remote medical tangi for medicinal purposes.
Thank you so much. Now we have one online paper presenter, Dr. Swadhin Kumar Raut. Sir, are you there? Dr. Swadhin Kumar Raut, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. So, the theme of the paper is decision making for effective social media presence, understanding students' perceptions at Medicaps University, Indore. Sir, you can continue your presentation, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Professor Swadhin Kumar Raut from University.
Yes,
And I
sir.
am delighted to present
our research on decision making for effective social media presence, understanding students' perception at Medical University. This study is a collaborative effort with Ms. Ansar Chauhan and brief overview of what we'll be covering today. As you can see, our presentation will follow a structured format. We'll start with the introduction, moving onto the research objective, explore the problem statement, and then go through the methodology, analysis, finding, and finally then with the background and significance of our research, we'll do the introduction. In today's digital age, social media is not just a platform of communication, it plays a role in shaping perception, building unity, and student status. Basically, our study examine how well university using social purpose and what a student actually think it. With the context, let's take at the specific objective that guided our research. We focused two main areas. First, understanding how students take their system, university, about social media presence, and the frequency and nature of students, and identifying the area where the user content and engage strategies could be improved. Now that was here. Going to statement of the problem. Let's move on the issues and challenges we aim to address in this research. Our central research was students' perception, specifically how they view the impact of social media on engagement, information access, and the university public image. How the students take the social media, one of the any educational institution. We also compare medical university social media strategy with similar institutions and gather students' feedback for its improvement. Let's now look at how we carried out the research or what research methodology we have used. We adopted a quantitative research approach using a structured online survey. A convenient sample of 100 students respondents to a 5-point Likert scale questionnaire was analyzed. The result using descriptive statistics, ANOVA and t-test to test reliability and variation across the groups. Going to the data analysis and interpretation. This is based on this methodology. Let's explore what the data revealed. Our data reliability was excellent with a convex alpha of 0.932. T-test and ANOVA results showed no significant difference based on gender, department or academic levels. Most of the students had a moderately positive perception of the university's social media, and the time spent on platforms had minimal impact. So they had a positive perception towards the university's social media presence, the content which we are putting, the information which we spread to the students in the form of different social media. They have a positive response towards it. After previous analysis, we come to the next slide now. Let's summarize the key takeaways from our data. Here are some major insights. In our findings, high data reliability confirms that validate of our findings. Gender and department did not influence the satisfaction level of the social media presence. As compared to the PG students, undergraduate students reportedly higher satisfaction than others. Interestingly, time spent on social media did not significantly alter perception. Going to the limitations, while these insights are valuable, our study had certain limitations that are important to consider. First, the sample size was limited to 100 students, which affects generalizability. we used a purely quantitative approach, so deeper qualitative insights were not captured. Also, we did break down results by specific platforms like Instagram, WhatsApp, or Facebook, and the short research time frame and the constraints for our research. With these limitations in mind, here are our concluding thoughts and some recommendations. We suggest improving content quality to appeal to diverse student group and ensuring consistency in the tone and publishing schedules. Engaging students through interactive contents and feedback mechanism will also enhance the effectiveness of the university's social media strategy. If university made some strategies and create some useful contents, it will be more effective on the perception of the students. No doubt, almost all of the students accessing the social media for collecting information. So, by creating new strategies or interactive contents, we can allow the students, we can change the perception of the students towards the educational institute image. Going to the reference, let's quickly glance at the references that supported our research. There are some of the key works that shaped our understanding and framework, ranging from the studies of the Gen Z social behavior to social presence. These are our references.
Thank you so much,
We
sir.
have planned our presentation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your attention. We appreciate your time and interest. I will be happy if any questions or discussions.
Thank you so much, sir.
Further.
Thank you so much, sir.
I have just one suggestion, sir. Right, somewhere during your presentation you mentioned that one of the limitations is that because of the sample size, generalizability is difficult. The moment you say that generalizability is difficult, your study becomes meaningless. Because what is the purpose of sampling? What is the purpose of statistical analysis? To find a sample which can be generalized to the population. Otherwise, it's a mere statistical artifact. So my suggestion is please rework on that part. In no study, the limitation can be generalizability. If that happens, the study itself becomes meaningless. So I hope you will take a note of that in future. Thank you so much.
Please, sir.
Thank you so much. So now we have next paper presenter, Mr. Kruttivas Kuntia sir, and the theme of the paper is resource management and supply chain optimization in Odisha's coconut industry, machine learning approach for sustainable agriculture. Sir, please.
Respected faculty members, staff members, colleagues, and my dear students. On behalf of Mrs. Anita Mahapatra, I am honored to present my research on machine learning to optimize the supply chain, coconut supply chain management. These are the contents to which I will be getting in the research. So mostly the supply chain, the supply chain in research is not exactly efficient or it is not capable to yield the exact profit and it will be empowering the farmers. So on behalf of that, the research is exactly putting focus upon the machine learning and that particular this machine learning tool is going to implement to boost the significance of the coconut supply chain in Odisha particularly. So here in the introduction, so for that it is mentioned the machine learning is going to address these are the aspects so supply forecasting, inventory management and market connectivity. So for these, so next is the objective, and it is exactly in the objective part, it is being targeted to make a set model, and that model is going to achieve the crop demand supply, as well as the resource should be properly managed, and the distribution must be optimized. So for that, the model is going to be designed. So next is the question, research question, and here the exact question is whether the machine learning is comfortable to address the demand forecasting. So that should be reduced. That should be improved, as well as the market access must be improved, and side to that will be having the logistic cost that must be reduced. So next to that we will be having the data collection, coconut demand, supply, and prices in Odisha. So these are the exact collection from the government records. It has been recorded for the year 2022 and the month from January to December 2023. So likewise the coconut demand for January 22, that is mentioned likewise the data has been collected, and in that coconut supply, demand, supply, price, weather condition, as well as the festive season. So next to that, we are having the types of data collected. So that collected data, the types varied is that time series data, and it's exactly historical data on coconut demand, supply, prices. Variable in the time series data, the variables are exactly recorded as the demand, supply, price, production, sales. So these are the variables must be considered. It is not time series data sets. So spatial data means on the space the recorded data which we have covered collected from the government reports and market research reports. Category data, that is coconut varieties, the production methods, and sales channels. So these are the description of the category data, and which is the frequency recorded as one time. At once it is recorded, and numerical data, that is coconut yields, that is how much it is produced, then production cost and prices. So these are the numerical data being recorded, and it is monthly as well as yearly. You can see mentioned. So data collection measures. So these are the data measures we have implemented. We have some Microsoft, that is online surveys, telephone interviews, visits. So advantages, disadvantages, explanations are mentioned in these particular measures. Next to that we have data pre-processing. Pre-processing means in the previous file, that is data collection, that time we have noted, or we normally come across some data which are recorded for every individual month as well as that year, and there the imputation is nothing but if there will be some not available, means from comment record, if we are not going to get any particular data, so for that the imputation will be automatically taking care of some particular, it will be placing some data. So for that the model will be activated. So next to that we are having the one of encoding. So that is one technical thing, that is next to that we have standardized, and ultimately the model performance and efficiency are basically based on these three exact aspects. So next to that we are having the model development, regression, recently neural networks. So these are the things exactly implemented to forecast, to exactly develop the model for coconut demand and supply. Next, so for that model evaluation, under the model evaluation we are having the metrics, that is mean absolute error, mean squared error, half squared. So these are the things, and formula description and interpretation of the individual metrics as mentioned in this particular slide. Next to that we are having supply chain optimization. So these are the exact category over which the optimization has been carried out. That is transportation, inventory, market access, supply chain network, risk management, and restriction as well as readily and expected outcome also be mentioned with the numerical values. So in our exact model, the model has been as have the machine learning model has come up with reducing a forecasting error of 50%, and transportation cost that has also been reduced by 15%, and ultimately the pharma prices which has been upgraded, and it is exactly putting an advantage leveraging amount of 10%.
Excuse me, sir, kindly conclude.
Yeah. Under the conclusion, we are machine learning has revolutionized agricultural supply chain. The scalability also has been can be has been achieved, as well as data-driven intervention. So these are the exact aspects upon which we are putting our the machine learning model has been come across of, and ultimately the policy implications, that is scale up policy makers, that is must be very much focused about the digital infrastructure capacity building, and the stakeholder must be very much put emphasis upon the effective use of machine learning tools for in order to avoid the errors. It must be effective. So for the future research direction, blockchain technology as well as IoT, Internet of Things, and other crops
Thank
must
you.
be adapted to.
Thank you so much, sir, for your nice presentation. Thank you so much.
So these are the government papers and other research, academic research from which we have collected data.
Thank you so much, sir.
Very good study. Are you also associated with this study?
Partly, sir.
In what capacity? Are you a co-worker, co-author?
Sir, both are but and we have come across that agriculture that's what I have.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now we have the presentation themed on bridging the digital divide, a global local approach to financial and ethical inclusion in the era of digital finance, which is authored by Dr. Tatya Bomali and co-authored by Durga Prasad, Dvipanika Mishra Madam, Pramit Chandra Rao and Sai Babu Meena.
Happy afternoon. Happy afternoon, respected Kote, respected ma'am, and below my participants and my student friends. Here I am going to present in front of you treating the digital divide, a global local approach to financial and ethical inclusion in the era of digital finance. We know at the present, where in the modern days, the entire universe, especially in the domain of finance and accounts and economics, so it is a very advanced concept, that is a digital finance. Actually, digital finance, including mobile banking. Before I'm giving that, due to the time factor, I'll just display and I'm just giving the bullet points of each area and take my study. I hope you understand, sir. That is before I'm done. And here, including mobile banking, fintech innovations, and digital payments, is reshaping global financial access in the present scenario, and promotes finance inclusion, offering underserved population access to essential financial tools, various financial tools. However, the digital divide, lack of internet and the tech access and skills hampers universal participation, especially in emerging economies and the South global. True financial inclusion is not just access
but equitable benefits from services. Persisting challenges in entire my entire my research, limited digital literacy and inadequate internet infrastructure, socio-economic inequalities, and emerging ethical concerns, that is data privacy and user consent, digital manipulation. My research aim is explore how financial inclusion and digital ethics intersect in global and local context. My core question is, how does digital inclusion vary access reasons and what ethical challenges emerge in digital finance? Which models foster ethical, inclusive and sustainable digital finance? So this is entire my overview of entire my research. Now, the basic area and concept is ethical digital finance and inclusive growth in emerging economies. Digital financial services are transforming access globally, but the digital divide persists especially in the global south. And the study explores the interaction of financial inclusion and ethical digital standards in India and Southeast Asia. That is my scope of study. And I followed a mixed method approach, surveys plus interviews, some of interviews, and analyzed via regression and thematic coding. Key adaptation in my entire survey research factors: digital literacy, internet access, gender gaps, socio-economic conditions. Findings: ethical safeguards and localized fintech improve trust and usage. Challenges include data privacy, infrastructure gaps, and digital illiteracy. Recommends adapting global standards, the GDPR, ethics and charter to local cultural and linguistic context. That is called General Data Protection Regulation, that is the GDPR. And introduce the digital inclusion framework for emerging economics, that is DP, emphasizing ESG, compliance, inclusion, and community-driven digital finance. Aligned with the conference theme to my research, the ethical innovation, inclusive finance, sustainable development. I've taken a few keywords in entire my research: digital divide, financial inclusion, digital ethics, global local approach, fintech, emerging economies, digital finance. Now my objective is to investigate the gaps in access and usage of digital finance in emerging markets, to develop into the ethical ramifications of digital financial services, to propose a hybrid framework that blends global standards with local innovations, fostering inclusive financial practices. The research questions and objectives have taken the research questions: how does digital inclusion vary globally and locally? And what ethical challenges emerge? What models ensure sustainable impact? My objective is assess access and ethical use, and propose a digital inclusion framework, that is equal to D. Here the literature insight, I am giving the only bullet points. So 2.7 billion people encountered the worldwide report, and the ethical concerns, data misuse, algorithmic bias, and innovations UPA at present in India, and M-P-Seva, the Kenya, and BCAS, Bangladesh. Research gap, ethics plus inclusion plus localization integration. My methodology is mixed method, quantitative plus qualitative. 600 survey response plus 330 interviews in various entire India and abroad. And tools I'm using SPSS and NGO and focus digital access, literacy, trust and ethics. And hypothesis framework that my hypothesis 1, digital finance improves access. Hypothesis 2, ethics, moderate, sustained usage. Hypothesis 3, localization based trust. And test what I have taken, that is regression, ANOVA and thematic analysis. The key findings: 87% to access digital finance, 72% via mobile, 63% lack digital literacy skill, and 54% fear data misuse. And ethical safeguard enhanced trust 69%. Local models outperform global one. And the quantitative things: trust to transparency, ethical blind spots, and community intermediaries role, user vulnerability, fraud and confusion. Here the digital inclusion framework for emerging economies, inclusive design, ethical governance and community engagement, and ESG integration and collaborative regulation. These are the policy implications in entire my research. That is a blend global.
Excuse me, sir. 2 minutes to come.
Yes, I am almost concluded. Ethics with the local practices, promote digital literacy via communities, mandate ethical by design fintech, encourage ESG aligned innovation. This is my conclusion. Access is not equal, inclusion, trust and ethics are key. And DeFi offers a path for sustainable inclusion. A global local synergy is essential. Ethical and contextual fintech empowers users. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hope you understand. Because I have already given the bullet points. 300 seconds, I have given the time. In that time context, I just prepared.
It was a nice presentation, sir.
Thank you.
Very informative one. Sir.
Just out of curiosity, it's a very good study, but you have included both aspects, survey as well as focus group. So what was the constitution of the focus group?
The focus groups, that is actually areas, that is I have taken economically category people, and those are financial literacy people and non-literacy people. And I have taken the different areas, that is different areas means that is those areas still the financial products are not servicing properly. The financial products. So I have taken the different areas.
What was the demographics?
Demographic both for India and abroad, that is in Asia.
Sense of age?
Bangladesh. Yes, means above 18 years.
Maybe if you take a more varied younger students as well as elder people, the opinions would be very different. If you take it separate. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Now we have a very exceptional and unique paper that we have beyond our management and business administration, but that is in library science. We have loved to listen from Mrs. Jharan Rao, librarian from Astha School of Management. Her paper is role of library administrators in strategically positioning libraries as catalyst for sustainable development goals in India. Madam, please.
writer in Astha School of Management. I am presenting my paper. Paper topic is role of library administrator in strategically positioning library as catalyst for sustainable development goals in India. Introduction. Library play a crucial computational point of view at present, which has been converted to dynamic center for learning and innovation due to the vast development of information technology. As the United Nations 2030 agenda for sustainable development, libraries has find themselves in the position to act as a powerful catalyst for sustainable change within their community. Sustainable development goals. Sustainable development goals, often referred to as the goals, are adopted by United Nations in 2015 as ambition sets to action. These goals aim to eradicate poverty, safeguard our planet, and ensure that by 2030 all individuals can experience peace and prosperity. Comparing the 70s in interconnected goals, they provide comprehensive framework as a driving objective goal and change.
Excuse me, madam, can you come down to your objectives? Where is the objective? This one.
Determine the kinds of leadership required to be library. The leadership is very essential for development library. Identify the role and involve the placement of library for development. The identify the approaches for utilize library leaders in arranging the libraries. To determine policy and governance strategies. Grasping the importance of sustainable development and library. Sustainable development is global interest that seeks to balance economic growth, social inclusion, and environmental protection for present and future generations. The library has exclusive knowledge institutions play a vital role in advancing the sustainable development goals and outlined by the United Nations such as SDG 4, SDG 5, SDG 8, SDG 8, and SDG 13 and SDG 16. So strategic function of library administration. There are research to play crucial role serving future in library with increasingly digital, inclusive and sustainable work. The function of the library leaders. The leadership is vision, cooperation and as well as partnership. Development of human resource capacity building, digital transformation and innovation. Challenges faced by library leaders in India. While library remain vital education, research and community development, their leaders must navigate humans under and sustain the modernized services. The adequate funding and infrastructure, difficulties with human resource, limited public awareness and involvement, innovation and technological integration, environmental issue and sustainability. These are my case studies. The leaders in India have sufficient opportunity to take decisive and strategic action by implementing library into the national sustainable development goal and achieving framework. By adopting this transformative goal, library can evolve from traditional book and restore library, highly community. It are the hub that serve the learning, promote and collaboration and advocate the sustainable development.
Thank you, madam. Thank you so much.
I just have one query. Why did you choose only a few SDGs? What was the process of choosing only a few SDGs out of 17 SDGs given by UN?
So, 17 goals are United Nations they get got six goals are achieved. Leadership is a visionary activities for library sustainable development. Visionary activities are
How did you decide that? You decided it or was there a process?
Sir, actually, I am facing so many problems. The every library is facing so many problems. So I decided this is the correct.
Thank you so much. All the best.
Thank you so much, madam. Okay, so as all the paper presentation is over, so now for further continuation, I will request Professor Ananya Sai to come up on the stage and continue the conversation. Please, ma'am.
Well, I would like to conclude it this way. Let's give a big round of applause for all the paper presenters for showing for showcasing their research in this platform. And a special thanks to our library ma'am, Ms. Jharna Rao ma'am. Thank you so much for your presentation. In outstanding management, we got to know so many things. Well, before proceeding to any other proceedings further, I would like to request Professor Dr. Manit Mishra sir to kindly share his inputs to the forum.
I think they are already saturated with too much of gyan today, this morning. But just one few words of advice for researchers. This is a very good topic. This is an upcoming topic when you talk about fostering inclusivity for future sustainability. And basically when you think about research always, it's research. You are always taking one step forward, one small incremental step forward. And therefore, if you are really interested in research, one needs to keep looking for topics which are which are emerging. And this is one of the emerging topics. And that should be the basis for deciding what should be my next area of work, what should be my next research activity. So to that extent, for example, when I see this topic, what comes to my mind is, does really inclusivity influence sustainability? Can I create a model? Can I do a study and try to figure it out, find it out empirically or qualitatively whether this is true? Okay. So this is how our research is built, an incremental, one more step forward, one more small step forward. And do a lot of introspection. When you are doing research, many times what will happen is you are writing and you will get stuck. Leave the topic, go out, take a walk, have some ice cream, come back again an hour later, and then again reread your work. You'll start getting ideas how to take the next step forward. And what is the most important thing which I feel many times is missing amongst researchers is that we don't read. When you are writing a research paper, it's all perfectly fine. Nobody tells you to read. But unless you read, you cannot write. Your English won't improve, your command over language won't improve, and the way you put your argument won't improve. And if you think that I'm writing a research paper, if you maintain that mentality, it would always be difficult. For example, when a student faces a recruitment interview, placement interview, we tell the student, you're trying to sell yourself. You are trying to position yourself to the recruiter. When you are writing a research paper, you are doing exactly the same thing for a journal. You are trying to sell your article. You are trying to position and sell your article. You are trying to sell an argument. So when you are writing, read it from the perspective of the editor. Don't read it from your perspective. Am I convincing enough for the editor? Because please remember, every page in a journal costs a lot of money. So the editor is very careful about it as to whether or not I should pick up the article. Unless an article is in an emerging area, unless the article has the capability of gathering citations, the editor would always find a reason to take it out. It's not a selection process. Choosing of an article in a journal is not a selection process, it's a rejection process. If I find a reason I can reject, I would always reject. And it is your responsibility, the researcher's responsibility, to make sure that you present your argument in such a convincing manner that the editor and the reviewers are convinced. So to that extent, please read a lot, and when you write, read and reread your article a number of times to improve upon your argument. That's my final suggestion. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir. We will now request the co-chair, Professor Dr. Devdas Das, to kindly share his insights.
Good afternoon, everybody. Respected chairperson of the session, Professor Manik Mishra sir, and all the faculty members and their students and participants of this conference. First of all, I would like to thank the organizer of this conference to invite me as a co-chair in this particular technical session of marketing track, and all the papers given by the participants, it was good, no doubt about it. The innovation part was there, it was clearly visible. But when we talk about this topic, the topic which has been chosen by the organizer, that is fostering inclusivity for future sustainability, it's an upcoming topic, because nowadays all the companies, those who are succeeding in their respective product line or sectors, everybody has to go for these two words, because it is not an option. Nowadays it is compulsory, it is mandatory for all the companies to go for this inclusivity as well as sustainability. And one program is running by this Unilever, Hindustan Unilever Limited, that is Project Shakti. So it was focusing on this sustainability as well as inclusivity. How it has been done? Because that project tried to reach out the rural people. See, the rural market is more broader in comparison to the urban market. So Unilever has taken some initiative to develop some women entrepreneur. For that, they are giving training. They are giving, uplifting the skills of the rural women, and they are giving a lot of commissions which will increase their social status in terms of money, and as well as they can establish themselves as a woman entrepreneur. That Project Shakti, that project of Hindustan Unilever Limited, that is projected to that particular niche of consumers. Rather, you can say two things you are doing at a time. First of all, one is you are increasing the consumer range as well as you are developing entrepreneurs. So both the things are together being done and practiced. Both things are linked into the sustainability as well as the inclusivity. So once again, I would like to thank all the participants for their contribution in their research, and the guidelines and the guidance given by Manik sir will definitely help them to carry forward their research work, and I hope this conference will be a great success. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, I would like to request our patron, Professor Dr. Sharmila Subramanian Madam, and our Director of Statutory Compliance and Communication to the dais, and let's felicitate the track chairs. Requesting Professor Deepak Jaina for the felicitation. May I request the entire forum to please stand, and let's give a standing ovation to Professor Dr. Manik Mishra and Professor Dr. Devdas Das, the track chair and the track co-chair, for being present in this international conference fostering inclusivity and for future sustainability, global perspective and local action. And sharing the session, I would request the claps to be louder while we are felicitating the track chair and the fourth track chair. Requesting Professor Dr. Sharmila Subramanian, the Honorable Patron, as well as Director of Statutory Compliance and Communications, Professor Dr. Ashok Kumar Panja, while felicitating our track chair. I would like to request, sir, I would like to request the forum for a photograph because they have requested. So, can we have a group photograph? Please come forward. The students as well as the participants. I request all the faculty members of Astha School of Management to please come forward. All the students, please come forward for a photograph.
ତଳେ ରହିଯା ଉପରକୁ ଜାଗା ହେବନି ସେମାନେ ଆଗକୁ ପଳେଇ ଆସନ୍ତି ତଳେ ରହିଯାଆନ୍ତି
Students can किसी स्टूडेंट आंटी छोड़ो
I request all the participating students, the reporting time for tomorrow is 9, sharp 9 a.m. and the day is a closure from our end. Thank you.
Done.